Alright everyone, Meta Madness has come to a conclusion, and obviously we're also nearing the end of the year, so we have the next tournaments already set up and they will start soon. But today we're going to talk about something a bit different. Also, again, big shout out once more to Plarium. We are going to talk a little bit about Raid. Always nice to have some sponsorships like this on the channel. Helps, of course, also to host all of the other events that we do here. So big shout out to Plarium for that. Guys, I've been talking about Raid for quite some time. I've been playing the game for 4 or 5 years at this point. Had a bit of a break in between, came back, and I know that the game has, generally speaking, a bit of a bad rep. But honestly, I think from all of the collector games, from those gacha games where you're just like going to collect things, build them up, it's actually the best. It's an action RPG, it's really nice if you need a side game. Don't get me wrong, this is not an esports title, it's not like a MOBA, we're not talking about real-time strategy here. But when you're looking for a game that you can play on your phone, that you can play on your PC, and then can play, for example, at the airport, this is really one of the best, in my personal opinion. I've been playing it for a long, long time for that very reason, way past all of the partnerships that I had with Raid and with Plarium, the company, in the past, because, again, I actually enjoy it, and it is quite a bit of fun once that you get into it. Now, the one thing that I want to make clear is that there is a link through which you can sign up. And in this particular case, they actually allowed me to create that link together with them. Typically what happens when you're using one of these creator links is you get a couple of free champions that are supposed to give you a head start to make it a bit easier for you to get into the game. But typically they just throw some random stuff together, and there are a couple of gems in there, but oftentimes, you know, half of the champions that you get are kind of meh, and it doesn't really help you all that much. Now in this case, it was actually pretty awesome because they allowed me to go into the champion pool and pick a couple of those myself, and really just bring all of that knowledge in that I have through the 4 or 5 years that I've now been playing this. So if you use that link, it honestly is a little bit like cheating. You're getting some absolutely epic and amazing champions that I, on my own account, for example, only got after I played the game for more than a year, and it will help you to essentially speedrun all of the early game. There's a couple of legendaries that you're going to get for free. There's a couple of very key epic S-tier champions that you get too, that allow you to break through certain content that is mega important at the beginning of the game to accelerate your progress. And it's honestly crazy. The whole thing was so insane that Reddit actually picked it up as well, the Raid subreddit, and they just threw a couple of threads out because they were like, hey guys, have you seen this? This starter pack is absolutely insane. So test it out. The link is in the description. There is also a link to a playlist that I have on a different channel where I go over a lot of the things in the game that, especially in the early game, will help you. Again, like Raid, all of these games, they essentially are very heavily based on knowledge initially. You need to kind of know what to do, what not to do. And if you are interested in giving the game a fair shot, I would recommend that you go through a few of those videos. They've already helped a lot of people, and it will help you not only to avoid the biggest mistakes, but also go for a couple of best practices at the beginning of your career with this, and to check that out. For everybody that is, by the way, asking, is a little bit curious, you can totally play this free to play. I actually have multiple accounts on the game. I have a very low spender account where I occasionally buy myself every half year or year a very small pack, one of those battle passes that they have, and have another account that's completely free to play. I don't play them consistently all the time, but I dip into them in and out, and you can play the game completely without spending a single dollar. It's totally possible. Most of the content, I'd say 90%, is completely PvE anyways. You have a couple of PvP elements, but you don't really have to completely commit to them in order to progress your account. There is also a couple of social aspects where you can jump into clans. We have actually several still. I still have the original clan that we built once the game started and we started to play it, and it's been quite a bit of fun. So again, I can heavily recommend it. I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't really like it too much, but again, that's totally fine. To each their own. I like it a lot. It has been my side game for ages. I always had a time killer game on my phone. Raid took over at some point, and I have only dropped it, I think, in between for a year where I played something else and then immediately went back. So again, I went back for a reason. They have a lot of cool new content coming in. They just released another PvE area where you can now play. They have cool cooperations with the Turtles, Alien vs Predator. I personally enjoy it. Check the game out, give it a fair shot, use the link in the description to sign up for it. Again, you get a lot of free things. And I would really recommend that you at least watch 1 or 2 videos of that playlist that are linked in the description as well, just so you have a bit of an idea of what the game is about, how to play it, because at the beginning it can sometimes be a little bit confusing when you come in, you know, with a certain idea of what you expect, and then it doesn't meet that automatically. I think the biggest question that I got is like, hey, does this game essentially play itself? And it does to an extent, but not really all that much, because once that you're going through that grind phase and you're kind of done with the campaign, then it really becomes a huge puzzle game where you're trying to break through content, through bosses, special abilities, and all of these things, and that is where the real fun lies. But especially at the start, it can be a little bit confusing if you don't give the game a fair shot. I would recommend, check it out. I enjoy it. The link in the description lets you speedrun or basically skip the entire early stages of the game, so you're ending up right more or less in the mid game, which is pretty awesome. Again, all those champions are essentially hand selected by me, and they're all S tier champions that will progress you extremely quickly in certain areas of the game. But yeah, all in all, big shout out to them again for supporting the channel here, which also allows us, of course, to create all the other content that you're seeing. I hope that you guys had a great Christmas and a fantastic end of the year. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Bye-bye.